Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name's Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kittiaque Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who's going to be joining us here this evening. We thank you for being here with us. We are on the air. I'm going to wait just a couple minutes here to get some more people here in the chat. I want to make sure we have the largest number of people here, at least to start, so I won't have to repeat myself here on our program tonight. Richard Smith was the first one here from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome, Richard. Renee Steffi from North Carolina is here. Juanito from El Centro, California is here. Welcome, Juanito. We're going to be talking about El Centro in a few minutes. We appreciate you being here. Sheila Dean is here. Demon Catman from east of England. Welcome, Dean. We appreciate you here. Annette is here. Dennis is here. Thank you so much, Dennis, for being here from St. Louis, Missouri. We appreciate you. We really do. It means a lot to us. Captain Apana is here, Southern California. We're going to be talking about earthquakes in Southern California in a very short minute here. Catherine Sigerson from Canada is here. Sheila Dean from West Tennessee is here. Welcome, welcome, guys. We appreciate you here. Judy B is here from Mendocino, California. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Dennis, thank you for being here. Dennis is here. Anyway, guys, I want to start off talking about what we have for you in terms of the hurricane that hit southern Texas yesterday. It was a mean hurricane. It is still churning northeastward as we speak. It's not a hurricane any longer. It's not even a tropical storm, a tropical depression. It is, however, a storm here in the United States. It's in the Midwest. It's definitely in the Midwest. Folks, I want to show you a few pictures here as we start off. This is where the storm is approximately located right now. I took this off of the National Hurricane Center just about an hour ago. This is where it's located now, okay? We're going up into Indiana and Illinois now, okay? We told you it was going to happen. It is happening as we speak. Now, it's not the only place where it's going, though, okay? I want to make that point perfectly clear. It's not the only place where it's going. I want to show you a storm track map right now. This is where it's going. Again, it started way down here in southern Texas between Corpus Christi and Galveston, Matamoros, Texas. It's already gone through Texas. It's gone through Arkansas and Louisiana, and now it's making its way up here, okay? It's going into Illinois. It's going to breeze by Chicago. It's going into Indiana and Ohio. It's going up here into the Great Lakes here, okay? This is where we're going to make sure we cover it. We're going to get tornadoes and thunderstorms in these areas. We had a lot of tornadoes yesterday touch down in Louisiana and Arkansas. Now this storm is less than it was, but it's still packing a punch as it moves to the northeast. The Great Lakes is going to get hit, and probably parts of Canada. You folks need to be aware of what's going on. It's a dangerous storm still. It's not packing the winds that it was. It's packing 25 to 35 mile per hour winds right now. Now, this is what happened, okay? It knocked down trees all over the coastline of Texas. Knocked down trees all over the place. Yesterday I showed you pictures of trees that were knocked down and fell into houses. It ripped off roofs over houses all over Texas. Like this. Totally ripped the roofs off. Hurricane force winds of upwards of 100 miles per hour yesterday. In Houston, the winds were clocked at 89 miles per hour. 89 miles per hour. Something else here. One more slide here of a roof that was ripped up in Houston. Look at that. Incredible. Look at the 2x4s here. Look at these 2x4s. These were launched from elsewhere. The winds picked up these 2x4s and ran them into the roofs. Okay, this we've talked about before. I've actually seen 2x4s into the side of homes. These are into a roof, right through the shingles, right through the plywood roof, into the garage here. It could have been worse. It could have been into the side of a home where people were living. Now, it's not all, folks. There's more. I have a lot of stories to tell you about what happened. I think I've already showed you this slide here. Yes, I have. I showed you this slide of where the storm is right now. It's going up into the Great Lakes. It's going up into the Great Lakes right now as we speak. Now, let me turn this camera around. I want to talk with you for a few minutes, okay? There's still a lot of stuff going on. I want to make that point perfectly clear. There's still a lot of stuff going on. The first responders are still working throughout Texas to make sure people are safe. Now, there's a lot that happened in Texas and in Louisiana and Arkansas. Hurricane Beryl, which made landfall early yesterday morning as a Category 1 hurricane, has been blamed for at least 7 deaths in the United States. 1 in Louisiana and 6 in Texas, and at least 11 in the Caribbean. By midday today, it was a post-tropical cyclone. It's being considered a post-tropical cyclone centered over Arkansas, and it was forecast to bring heavy rains and possible flooding to a swath extending to the Great Lakes in Canada. More than 2 million homes, 2.2 million homes and businesses around Houston still lack electricity today. 2.2 million homes and businesses still are without power. That is down from a peak of 2.7 million yesterday, according to PowerOutage.com. For many people, this was a miserable repeat from storms in May that killed 8 people and left nearly 1 million people without power amid flooded streets. Food spoiled in listless refrigerators in neighborhoods all over southern Texas. These neighborhoods pined for air conditioning, but the power was out. Long lines of cars and people stood or drove up in lines at fast food restaurants that had power. Food trucks or gas stations that had power and were open. People lined up for hours. Patrons lined up for 1 block to eat at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Jack in the Box, and Denny's, or just to get a few minutes in some cooler air. A man named Dwight Yell, 54 years old, had power at his house, but that good gentleman took a disabled neighbor who did not have power, and he took that person to Denny's for some food, making sure that people that were without had something to eat. He complained that city and state officials did not alert residents well enough to a storm that was initially projected to land much farther down the coast. They didn't give us enough warning, he said. Or maybe we could have gone and got gas or prepared to get out of town. This is why on Saturday and Sunday I was putting up warnings already. I wanted to put up warnings and watches so people could get prepared, so people could get their emergency preparedness kits ready. What have we done for 5.5 years? We've been on the air for 5.5 years. We talked about emergency preparedness kits. We talked about writing preparedness plans, and we talked about having water stored. Everybody needs to do this. We need to pass this information on. Please, folks, after the end of this program, share this program far and wide. We don't want people to be without food and water in the future. We can help that. We talk about emergency preparedness every day on this program. We need to get this information out. People did not have gas. What did we tell you to do? What did we tell everybody to do? To make sure their gas tanks were full, to make sure they had water, to make sure they had an emergency preparedness plan and an emergency preparedness kit. Plenty of water and food to get them by. Now it's going to be possibly even up until 2 weeks or longer before the power is restored in Texas. 2 weeks or longer. What does that mean? People are not going to have food. Food is already spoiling in people's refrigerators. Spoiling in the heat. 80-degree heat there in Texas. People said they did not get enough warning. I've been putting up warnings for the last 3 days. Get gas, get food, get water. Robin Taylor, who got takeout from Denny's, was getting tired of the same old struggle. Now get this. She's been living in a hotel since her home was damaged by storms in May. When Hurricane Beryl hit, her hotel room was flooded. Robin Taylor had been living in this hotel since May, and now her hotel room was flooded. She went to Denny's to get some takeout. She was angry that Houston did not appear even prepared to handle a Category 1 hurricane storm after it weathered many other stronger storms in the past. Incredible. She said no Wi-Fi, no power. It's hot outside. That's dangerous for people. It's a really big issue. People will die in this heat in their homes. People will die in this heat in their homes. What have we been saying? What have we been saying? If you are living in Texas and you're without power, make sure you open your windows and your doors to get some circulation in. There is going to be a breeze. At least a breeze will get circulation in. If you have some ice, or you can go to the store and get some ice, take your cooler and put that ice in a cooler. You can put your food also in that cooler. In another cooler, get some more ice and put that in the cooler. And if you don't have power, at least open the door or a window and have the breeze blowing in over that cool ice that will get you some humid, cool air going through your home. Please, folks, take turns on cooling down. Take turns on cooling down. Make sure you're taking every effort to save your own lives. Catherine Sigerson is in the chat saying, wet your clothes. Wet your clothes. Go and put a cool washcloth, or at least a wet washcloth on your face. Wash it off. That will give you some relief from the heat. You need to be aware of this, please. You need to be aware of it. Brokefish Inn, one of my mods and one of my best friends here, is in the chat. 102 degree Fahrenheit heat in Oregon. Folks, it's not just in Texas. We are praying for those people in Texas, and we're praying for people in California and Oregon and elsewhere that have high temperatures. It's all throughout the Midwest now. High temperatures all throughout the Midwest, including out in Colorado. It's bad, and it's only going to get hotter. Richard Smith says a spray bottle. I totally agree. Use a spray bottle, guys. That will help you. Richard Smith is over in Nova Scotia, Canada. He's one of our mods here. He's very good at this. Okay? He says it's 31 degrees Celsius inside his house today. It's warm everywhere. Take any ideas and apply it to your own lives. save your lives. Okay? Catherine Sigerson says, replace your minerals from sweating. Replace your minerals from sweating. There's such a thing as live water that you can get at the stores. That contains elements of minerals in that water that will help replenish your body. Okay? Broke Fish is also saying the bathroom tub is also a good place to put ice. You will cool that room and you can go in that cooler room as needed. You want to keep that door closed so the cooler air is in there, but at least you'll have a cool room. And that's a great idea. Diane Kelman is here also saying Gatorade or Pedialyte. Gatorade or Pedialyte. It's a great source there. Please do that. Please do that. That will help you. It's a big issue. People will die in this heat. People will die in this heat. Take care of yourselves, guys. Please, take care of yourselves. Now, I want to thank all of the emergency managers that I've been working with during the past 36 hours. I want to talk about Nim Kidd, who's head of the Texas State's Division of Emergency Management. She held a news conference earlier today. She said that officials in Texas, their number one priority is restoring power. Restoring power is their number one priority. In Washington, D.C., White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said President Joe Biden has approved a major disaster declaration for Texas. Emergency crews are there in Texas now, hoping to restore power. Again, their emergency number one priority is to restore power to at least an additional 1 million people by the end of today. There's over 2,200,000 people still without power. Their goal is to restore power to at least 1 million people today. Now, those crews were stationed on the outside of the storm, so their trucks and themselves were not affected by the storm. They were on the outskirts. As the storm blew in and blew out from that area, they came in and are now helping to restore power. First responders did the same thing. They left the area so they would be available to come back in once the water level went down. We're going to be talking about flooded streets and the water level in just a minute. Folks, we have emergency responders there right now. They've come back into Texas. They're here helping people. They're there helping people. Diane Kelman in the chat says, yes, I have water. She has water in her car and a backpack with essentials. I would caution you, though, make sure you take that water out when you're in the house. Don't leave it in your car. The best thing for you to do is keep it in your house, and then when you want to go out, take some water with you. You do the same thing in the wintertime so your water will not freeze in the bottles. Take what you need and take it with you so you have adequate water to drink in this heat. You don't want to be stranded without water anywhere. If your car stops for any reason, you want to have water to get you to where you need to go, and then you can refresh your water once you get there or when you get home. Richard Smith is now reporting a small 3.0 earthquake in Western Australia. This happens. Okay? Usually there's an earthquake in Western Australia and one in Eastern Australia as well. So far we have one 3.0 in southwestern Australia. Catherine Sigerson said her bottled water froze, nothing happened. You got lucky. When water freezes, it expands the bottle that it's in. If you have a glass bottle, it'll break. If you have a plastic bottle, it will expand somewhat, but if it expands too much, you're going to have water all over your car or all over yourself. Please be careful with that, okay? Now, I told you that emergency crews were busy trying to restore power throughout Texas, that their goal was to restore power to an additional 1 million people by the end of today. Now, it could take days, It could take days and even weeks to get all power restored, to fully return power to Texas. Beryl toppled 10 transmission lines. You know those great big huge towering transmission lines? Hurricane Beryl toppled 10 of those. The top priorities for power restoration include nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Now, the acting governor is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Governor Greg Abbott is out of the country right now visiting over in Japan, not Japan, but Korea. He's been in South Korea to help them bring some of their businesses to Texas. Seoul, South Korea is a sister city to several cities in Texas. That's why Governor Abbott left there. Governor Dan Patrick is in charge as acting governor. He said 16 hospitals have been running on generator power since this morning. 16 hospitals are running on generator power since this morning. Now, I think I need to check someone here in chat. Yeah, we have some people here in the chat that are harassing me. I don't like to be harassed. When that happens, I ban them from the channel, and that's exactly what I just did. I don't like being harassed at all. I don't like anybody to be harassed. Peppermint Patty also harasses. Peppermint Patty, you're gone as well. Plain and simple. Now, Don Patoka, one of my dearest friends here, is one of my mods in the chat. He put up a chat here. Notice, if you abuse this chat feature, you will be removed, and that's exactly what has happened. We removed some people from this chat. Trolls got kicked out, Billy 2, Troll 0. Okay? Note that. You will be kicked out. Now, Laura Marie, who's one of my dearest friends, says, seems like Governor Abbott would return to Texas because of the emergency going on, and that's exactly what he's doing now. He's en route back to Texas. Lieutenant Governor Patrick urged utilities to restore power as quickly as they possibly can. Okay? Lieutenant Governor Patrick said he would evaluate later whether utilities had taken proper steps before the storm to mount a swift response. I believe the utilities did mount a swift response. They stationed people, they stationed electric trucks and boom trucks outside the hurricane area, so as soon as the hurricane abated, they could move into the areas and restore power. I believe that's what has happened. Okay? I believe that is exactly what has happened. I've been part of the emergency management team watching everything going on and helping bring in more and more help to get this power restored. Power companies from outside of Texas and outside of Louisiana have descended on those areas to restore power. We appreciate all those electric companies that have put their workers at the Texas beck and call to bring in people to help restore power, especially during this heat. Okay? Please be aware of that. The Army Corps of Engineers, the National Guard troops, the power companies, and first responders from everywhere are descending back into Texas to help people. Okay? We've got federal police officers. We've got regular police, fire, and medical personnel from outside those states helping people. They come in where they're needed. They come in where they're needed. Okay? I appreciate everybody who's done what they have done. I appreciate the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor of Texas. I appreciate all of the emergency management people that I've been working with. I appreciate everybody that's helped. CenterPoint Energy, one of the electric companies which covers most of the Houston area, said it was bringing in about 12,000 workers from around the region to help restore power. A company spokesman said those workers weren't staged in the Houston area before the storm hit. They were staged outside the Houston area. Okay? The initial forecast said that they predicted that storm would go much further south. It did not. It moved north and east. Like I said, it struck between Corpus Christi and Galveston, Texas, Matamoros, Texas. Okay? That's what happened. Now, there is a lady named Cayuta Allen who brought her family to a Houston community center to cool down and use the internet for work and take night classes that she takes online. She said, "You can't really get a lot of stuff done when you're in the heat." Noting, she said it's hard to sleep in the heat. I agree. It's been hot here. Yes, we've had air conditioning in our home, but our bedroom has still been hot. We've been using air conditioning and the fans. It's still hard to sleep in the heat. She said, during the day you have the doors open, but at night you've got to board up and lock yourself into a sauna. I can completely concur. Leslie Briones, who's a Harris County Commissioner who visited a community center, and I spoke with Leslie yesterday. She said she's been told of people waiting hours to get gas. Waiting hours to get gas. What have I said about getting gas prior to the storm? Making sure you fill up your tanks prior to the emergency. The Harris County Commissioner said she heard people waiting hours to get gas. Folks, please pass this on. I think we're going to have some emergency managers from Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas that may be in this chat tonight. Please pass this information on to your constituents, to your families, to your neighbors and friends. Please make sure you gas up your vehicles before an emergency hits. This is only the first hurricane of the season. This is early for Texas. It's going to happen again. Catherine Sigerson said she slept in a wet shirt in Ontario. She said she couldn't handle the heat, and today was 27 degrees, and that's good for her. It's hot. It's warm everywhere. Arnold Schmidt says, can you imagine if there's a total brownout out of the grid going down? Not wanting to go there, but it's a possibility. I agree. It is a possibility. With everything that's going on in our countries, it's a possibility. Not just here in the U.S. and Canada, but Mexico. It could happen in Europe. It could happen in Central America and South America. It could happen in Australia. Please, folks, please pay attention to this. Please pay attention. You need to get prepared. You need to be prepared at all times. Diane Kelman said in the chat, even for the plastic gas tanks in the garage for your lawnmowers and generators. Now, folks, I showed you pictures of 2 roofs that blew off. People are out there with chainsaws cutting up trees that are falling down and cutting up those big 2x4s that were picked up by the wind and thrown into people's roofs. People are also putting tarps over the roofs so they will have some protection from rain that's coming. And yes, there is rain that's coming. They will have to get their roofs repaired at some point in time. People, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared, and you need to understand what we're talking about here. This is urgent. This is urgent to save your lives. Please do this. Don't wait till there's a disaster and then wonder why your car isn't full of gas, and why you don't have food in your house. Make sure you're storing food away. Make sure every time you go to the store, you pick up 1 extra can of this and 1 extra package of that. That way, when something does happen, you're ready to go. When something does happen, you're ready to go. Make sure you have a food storage plan. Make sure you are readying your food storage. Okay? Brokefish Inn put up a link in our chat for windy.com. www.windy.com. Windy.com puts up the information about dangerous winds and storms. Be aware of that website, wind.com. It may save your life, and it may save someone else's life who you love and think of as a friend. Please be aware of this. Don Patoka, one of my best friends, like I said, says if you're not aware and prepared, you are the disaster yourself. And that's true. Everybody in Texas that is without power right now is part of the disaster. They're not prepared. Some people can't afford generators. Others can. Did you get a generator to help yourself? Do you have solar power? Do you have solar panels? If not, you might consider to get those. One lady said she and her husband, I told you this last night, she and her husband are going to invest in storm shades for their windows. Storm shutters for the windows. This is something else that you need to be aware of. Okay? Catherine Sigerson just said something else I think is important. I'm going to repeat it now. She's been eaten alive by bugs this year. It's very bad. What are you doing to help protect yourself from flying insects and other bugs? Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're prepared. Folks, this is serious. It's very serious. It's a catastrophic situation when you lose everything in your fridge, especially if you had your fridge fully stocked. If you don't have any way to keep that fridge going, you lose everything. And then you're living check to check, literally. Make sure you're prepared. Now, Beryl's strength at midday today is with sustained winds near 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers per hour. It's not expected to change much in the next 2 days. It was forecast to bring still heavy rains and possible flash flooding from lower and mid-Mississippi Valley to the Great Lakes into Wednesday, tomorrow. Okay? Again, I'm going to repeat this. Today, Beryl's strength today, midday today, Tuesday, is with sustained winds near 30 miles per hour. That's still pretty powerful. When you see a flag going straight out, that is 25 to 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers per hour. That is not expected to change much during the next 2 days. It was forecast also to bring heavy rains and possible flash flooding from the lower to mid-Mississippi Valley to the Great Lakes into tomorrow. Okay? This is still an active storm. With those heavy rains and flash flooding, you may also have thunderstorms, and as it has done during the past 48 hours, it's spinning off these thunderstorms containing tornadoes. There's been a lot of tornadoes yesterday, and there's been a handful today. Please, folks, stay informed and prepared. Stay informed and prepared. Okay? We here on this chat, we here on this program, ask everybody to stay prepared. Stay informed and prepared. All of us are new at this. All of us are new at this, and at some point, we are requiring verified information, and that's exactly what we're giving you. Verified information. Verified information. One of my buddies, Dave, who I had on this chat as a co-host on this program, as a co-host last Wednesday, he's here in the chat today. Think ahead, especially if you are on oxygen or any other necessary medical device. You may need that for your own survival. Make sure you have a backup power supply. This is mandatory for your own sanity and your health. Please, folks, think about this. Think about it and be prepared. Think about this ahead of time and be prepared. Brokefish N says, fill up water jugs. Put those on the counter. Put those on the counter and let them breathe for 2 hours. And then cap them and repeat. Okay? I don't fill up milk jugs, but we have water here. We have bottled water. That's exactly what we do here. Every time our dogs empty, or well, Carol and I empty out a gallon of water for our dogs, we fill it with tap water. That way we have water to flush the toilets if the power goes out. We have water to wash with if the power goes out. We use it to water our gardens as well. That way we can refill those jugs and keep that water fresh. Think about it. We're giving you this information so you have it. Brokefish is also talking about having a 12-volt fan. They work very well. I have a 12-volt fan sitting right here beside me, blowing air on me right now. We have a 12-volt fan in our car to help circulate air in our car. We have a fan in our bedroom. We have a 110-volt fan in our bedroom, and we have a battery-operated fan there as well. Think about it. Think about it, and help yourselves, guys. Arnold Schmidt is in the chat right now saying it's 113 degrees Fahrenheit in Phoenix. Phoenix. A computer technician living there had to shut down his YouTube system because of the heat. Because of the heat. Heat stroke is a major cause of organ failure in humans. Heat stroke is very, very much a major cause of death in animals as well. Take care of your animals. Take care of your animals and make sure they're safe. Make sure they stay hydrated. Make sure they stay cool. Okay? Deborah says she freezes her plastic soda bottles in front of a fan. Okay? She puts them in front of the fan to help the house keep cool. That's a great idea. Richard Smith says found a USB charging fan at the dollar store. It's $5. You can plug it into your computer. You can plug it into any USB device to keep your fan going. Okay? A mist fan. Richard Smith just mentioned this, and Carol and I have a couple mist fans we keep in the living room. These will help you, guys. These will help you. Okay? Everyone here on this chat that's here is putting out great suggestions. These are great. These are great. Please listen. Please take this information to heart. Okay? Now, there is a flood watch in effect right now for parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. A flood watch as a result of that storm. We said there's going to be heavy rain, possible thunderstorms, and tornadoes. You need to be aware of it. A flood watch right now. A few tornadoes were possible in Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Tornadoes. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry issued a state of emergency this afternoon for part of that state after trees were knocked down and homes were damaged and thousands of people were without power. Okay? It's even happening in Louisiana. When Beryl made landfall, it was far less powerful than the Category 5 behemoth, where it tore a path through the Caribbean and parts of Mexico. But it became a Category 1 after it left the Yucatan and northwestern Cuba. Its winds and rain still knocked down hundreds of trees that have been teetering in saturated earth and stranded dozens of cars on flooded roads. Now, not only did it strand dozens of cars on roads, there was a police officer, a police security officer, information officer in Houston that got overcome by a roadway filled with water. This man was a security information officer for the police department. He was very well aware of what flooded roadways could be. He went underneath an overpass, another roadway going over that roadway. He went underneath that bridge and got stranded in high water, and it cost him his life. How many times have we talked about not going into flooded roadways? That officer probably didn't think that water was that high, and he got stranded there and he lost his life. Now his family is without their husband and father. Sad. It's very, very sad. I want to offer my condolences to that man as well. Kenneth Morardi says, how many years did you smoke? I didn't smoke 1 year. Not 1 year. You're asking why I got this? I am a former police officer. My right diaphragm is paralyzed from police training. I was a police instructor. I got in arguments with bad people on the streets. I got hit in the chest and the abdomen too many times. My right diaphragm is paralyzed. That's why I have oxygen. So if you ask me how many years I smoked cigarettes, I didn't smoke even one cigarette. Never happened, never will. Okay? Just so you know. Anyway, guys, please pay attention to what we're saying here. Not just me, but people in the chat. Please watch what you're doing here. We give you a lot of great information, but if you don't pay attention, it's going to go away and you're not going to have that information when you need it. Please pay attention. Now, although skies have cleared and flooding has begun to recede after the hurricane pummeled Houston, the Texas Department of Transportation is still reminding motorists to stay off the road as tree removal and debris removal continues. Stay off the road. If you have to go out, do so, but be cautious. Drive slowly, but if you don't have to be there, stay off the roads. Stay completely off the roads. Okay? I keep talking about this and talking about it, but you need to be careful. You need to be careful. By 10 p.m. last night, the Texas Department of Transportation reported that the number of high water areas across the region had fallen to 29 areas that still had high water. As floodwaters cleared out of Houston and fell back into the Gulf of Mexico, there's less and less high water areas. However, there still are areas that are flooded. Stay out of areas with flood waters. Trees and debris removal continue. Travel is still dangerous in many areas today as road crews and electricity providers and emergency responders assess the storm's impact. Okay? There are electrical providers, there are road crews clearing the streets and roads, and emergency responders are still out there doing their best to help people. If you don't have to be out, don't. Travel is still dangerous today. This morning, the city of Houston said by staying off the roads, first responders and repair crews can go out and take care of emergencies. Okay? Brokefish Inn is also talking in the chat, check on the elderly in your area. Check on the elderly in your area. They may need help also. I've done this before during blizzards in Denver. I've done this before here where I live, because yes, there are elderly here. Check on the elderly, whether it's cold or hot. They need our help. They need our help. Catherine Sigerson said this about broth. Also have broth to help you replenish the minerals in your body. That will help you keep from having diarrhea. Okay? It can help you. I didn't even think about broth. Thank you, Catherine, for that. Richard Smith says, please stay on topic, guys. We're talking about helping each other save our lives and save the lives of our family and our elderly friends and neighbors. Okay? If you don't have to be on the roads where these storms are still cooking, stay off. Stay off. If you don't have power, your phones probably won't work. And your employers probably already know that. Stay home. Stay home. Your employers will understand if you don't call them. Okay? Now, Hurricane Beryl was the earliest storm to develop into a Cat 5 in the Atlantic Ocean. Over in the Lesser Antilles, it started. It continued up into Grenada and the Grenadines. And it continued throughout the Caribbean. And we saw it as it moved just south of Puerto Rico, south of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And then it started turning, and we told you it was going to go up towards the Yucatan Peninsula and northwestern Cuba. It did. And it created havoc there. It flooded and destroyed a lot of homes and businesses in Jamaica. It's done the same thing in Houston, and well, not just in Houston, but all over southern Texas, and now over in Louisiana and Arkansas. And now we're having hot weather and wet weather coming up into Missouri, Arkansas, going into Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana and Ohio. Be prepared, guys. We're giving you this information now. Be prepared. This is not a prediction. This is a forecast. Be prepared. Be prepared. Now, I'm continuing to check on things here. I'm continuing to check on things. Do what you deem necessary to help yourselves, help your families, and also to help your neighbors. Okay? This storm became a Cat 5 in the Atlantic Ocean, and it worked its way up to Texas. We've been talking about this for almost a week. We need to get this information out. This channel specializes in disaster information. We talk a lot about earthquakes. We talk about tornadoes all the time. We talk about bad storms, whether it is winter blizzards or straight line winds or heavy rains and flooding. We talk about fires. There's a reason. We're trying to get this information out to the most people we possibly can. Please share this information far and wide. Share it far and wide with everybody that you know. Share it far and wide with your family, your extended family. Share it with your neighbors and your friends. Share it with your social media contacts and even the people you work with. Everybody needs information from Emergency Management Associates channel. Please, folks, please do this. Again, we're trying to save lives here. That's why we talk about it. Okay? Now, the island residents around Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, over in Puerto Rico, and down in the Lesser Antilles, going over into Grenada in that area. Guess what? A lot of property was destroyed. A ton of property was destroyed. Food shortages are now rampant in the islands of the Caribbean. And now food shortages are now being seen in Texas as well. Why? Because these people have not had this information that we've been putting out. That's why we need to send this information out to everybody we know. I know for a fact that many of you have family in these areas. Share this channel with them. share this channel with them, and also subscribe to this channel. We talk about emergencies all day long. All day long. Anyone wanting emergency preparedness information, all you have to do is go to our channel and look at the title of it. If it says preparedness, there's a good reason for it. Go to that particular program and watch it, and take notes when we talk about emergency preparedness. Okay? Arnold Smith is in the chat saying, cellular towers have a battery backup system that can last for 12 hours depending on their equipment installation design. This is a good idea. They might also have a diesel generator to keep the batteries of that cellular tower powered. They do that. Now, something else you need to know. Cell towers may not be able to transfer a voice message, but cell towers more than likely will be able to transfer a text message. So if your cell tower is not working to power phones to get your voice message to whoever you're calling, try a text message. That will probably get to the party that you're trying to get hold of. Text message systems work. I've done it myself. Eventually Mike just upgraded his membership to the highest level, level 3. Please, folks, subscribe to this channel, and when you do, consider joining this channel as members. That way you help support this channel. He also gifted one Emergency Management Associates membership. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Renee Steffi was gifted a membership by Adventuring Mike. That membership's good for 30 days. That's awesome. Thanks, Mike. God bless you for that. Delete Funds is talking about shortwave radios as well. I agree. Battery-powered shortwave radios. Battery-powered AM, FM weather radios also work. Consider that. Adventuring Mike just gave us a $3 super chat. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. You folks that can help us with super chats, we'd appreciate it to keep this channel on the air. I just got through paying a $240 internet bill. A $240 internet bill today. Just to keep this program on the air. This program requires a high bandwidth internet service. We have that. We'd appreciate any help that you can give us to keep us on the air. Prices keep going up, and I understand you may also be in a financial bind. A lot of people are. But if you can possibly help us, we'd appreciate it. Okay? After I get off the air today, we have a PayPal addresses, 2 of them. Below our program today, within 10 minutes after we get off there, we'll put up a program description. In that top of the program description, it'll have a link to YouTube to join as a member of this program, a member of the Emergency Management Associates family. You can join as a member, just as Adventuring Mike just did. He upgraded his membership. You also have our PayPal addresses in the program description. You will have, as soon as we get off the air. You also have our email address. You will also have our mailing address. Our mailing address is 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. 28655. Renee, I will message you after we get off the air. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. I will talk to you as soon as we get off the air. But do please help us with this. We'd appreciate it. You can send us a letter. You can send us a card. I love getting cards and letters. I absolutely love getting cards and letters. When you get it, you send us a card or letter, you can stick some kind of check or money inside that card or letter, and it will get to us. We've only had 2 problems with mail in the last 3 years. Only 2. I will tell you it works. I will tell you it works. This past week we got one person that sent us a check. We greatly appreciate it. Diane Mayers Deborah Reese is asking, address please. It's 104 North Green Street. Box 105. 104 North Green Street, Box 105. Morganton, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. Brokefish just put up our PayPal. We appreciate it. 2 different PayPal addresses you can send us to. Our Venmo doesn't work, Brokefish. Our Venmo doesn't work. For some reason, Venmo took it down. It doesn't matter. We still have our PayPal up. You can send us to our PayPal. We'd appreciate it. Okay? We greatly appreciate it. We also have a Cash App. Please, folks, help us. We'd appreciate that so much. Anyway, going on. There's still $6.4 million in crops. $6.4 million in crops and supporting infrastructure that's been destroyed by that Category 1 Hurricane Beryl. Those people are going to need our help. Those people are going to need our help. Linda Covington's in the chat saying, what does a high bandwidth mean and do? A high bandwidth allows us to have Wi-Fi necessary to broadcast our channel. To broadcast this channel. That's what Wi-Fi does. Bandwidth is Wi-Fi connection. Bandwidth is internet Wi-Fi connection. That's what it takes to put this program on. And we appreciate any help you can give us. I appreciate all of you. I told you I love you very much, and I do. Some people say it goes without saying. No, it doesn't. I want you to know how much we appreciate each and every one of you. It means a great deal to you when we have support. It means a great deal when I see all of you here in the chat. A few minutes ago we had over 100 people watching this program. Now that number has dropped to 90. Don't know why, but it has. Now, I'm not over this program. It's not completed. I still have at least another half hour or more information to give you. I want to talk about earthquakes in Southern California. I keep telling you that we're going to have a major earthquake in Southern California. I'm going to give you information right now about earthquakes that are happening in Southern California. In downtown Los Angeles, downtown LA. The only seismic information are just tremors. The only seismic information we have in downtown Los Angeles is that there are tremors. These tremors are at the University of Southern California. These tremors are also, for some reason I just closed out. I just closed out one of my files here. Okay, this is a seismogram. A seismograph, a machine, records this information. Now, what I'm showing you here are tremors. This is at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. Okay, all these lines here, each and every line is 15 minutes long. 15 minutes worth of information. All these are tremors. Everything that you see here on this seismogram are tremors. This is a 1.3 tremor here. This is a 1.2 tremor here. This is a 1.3. This is a 1.3 as well. The rest of these are 1.1, 1.2 tremors all day long. It started off here, and this is actually from last night into today. This is 5 p.m. yesterday. This one goes through 4:30, 4:45 a.m. down here at the bottom. This green line here is 4:45 a.m. this morning. And it goes all the way over here until it gets to 5 a.m. We don't have anything after 5 a.m. on this particular seismogram. However, these other seismograms I'm going to show you are showing a lot of information. A ton of information. Chino, California. Chino, California is much more than just tremors. Folks, right here, this is a 1.9 tremor. You can see the tremors here are larger. They're just not tiny, they are larger tremors. Okay, this is typical for what we see in Chino, California. That's what we're seeing right here. Again, this one starts at 5 p.m. yesterday. It goes to just before 5 a.m. this morning. Okay, this is Chino, California. Let's go over to the Channel Islands just off the coast of Los Angeles. The Channel Islands here. Look at this. All these are tremors here. All these are just small tremors. Right here, this is a 2.0 earthquake right here. This is a minor 2.0 earthquake here. A 2.0 earthquake. Demon Catman says, Ron, finger on the microphone, a bit muffled. I'm sorry. Yes, I might have that. I might have had that on the microphone. I'm sorry. Anyway, you're seeing mostly tremors here. Down here, this earthquake happened just after 4 a.m. this morning. Right here, this is a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. This happened just after 4:05 a.m. this morning. A 2.2, 2.3 earthquake here at the Channel Islands in Southern California off the coast of Los Angeles, off the coast of LA. Let me show you some more. Let's go over to North Los Angeles, Del Amo, California. This is more than just 2.0, 2.3 tremors. This is a lot more than that. 1.5 tremors, 2.0 earthquakes here. Right here. This is just after 5:35 p.m. last night. This is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Most of these are tremors except for this. Right here. This is after 3:50 a.m. this morning. This is a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. And it lasted for a while. This earthquake probably lasted at least 15 seconds. 3:50 a.m. this morning over in Del Amo, California, just north of Los Angeles. It's a suburb of Los Angeles. Let's keep going here. Even out into the deserts. This is Bakersfield, California. Bakersfield, California is where the San Andreas Fault is. Look at this information here. These are tremors. These are tremors caused by the San Andreas Fault. Okay? Tremors on the San Andreas Fault. Right here. This is after 10, I want to say this is about 10:09 p.m. last night. This is a 2.5, 2.6, excuse me, not 2 point. This is a 1.6, 1.5 tremor here, right here. Okay? You see multiple tremors here after 5 p.m. yesterday. Okay? Let's go out to Rancho Mirage out in the desert. Rancho Mirage, California. Again, this is a San Andreas fault. Now you're seeing long duration tremors here. Look at this. 6 p.m. last night. Long duration tremor activity right here. Right here in the center here, this is just after 6:05 p.m., almost 6:06 p.m. last night. This is a 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. Rancho Mirage out in the desert areas in Southern California along the San Andreas Fault. Okay? Let's talk about Victorville, also east of Los Angeles. Victorville is on the San Andreas Fault. Now, yes, we're seeing a lot of tremors, a lot of 1.0, 1.2 tremors. However, right here, over here, this is 6:44 p.m. last night. This is also 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Right here, this is after 7 p.m. last night. 7:05 p.m. last night, another 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Victorville, California, east of Los Angeles. Yes, you might say they're just tremors. I'm also going to show you earthquakes. I've been showing you minor earthquakes. I'm going to show you larger earthquakes than that. Okay? A lot larger than that. Let's go over into Los Angeles itself. Los Angeles, Baldwin Hills. Baldwin Hills is the oil and gas producing area of Los Angeles. These are tremors here. These tremors are the largest we've seen in the Baldwin Hills. These are continuous tremors. 1.2, 1.3 tremors literally all day long. Again, this seismogram starts at 5 p.m. yesterday. You can see it continues literally all day long. It doesn't stop. These are increased tremors. During the past weeks and months, the tremors have not been this large. The tremors are getting larger in the LA area. This is in Los Angeles. It's in the Baldwin Hills. The Baldwin Hills, back in the 40s, 30s, and 40s, used to be a mountainous region. Very hilly and full of trees. The powers that be cut down all the trees. They cut down all the trees. In doing so, they leveled the mountaintops off. Now they have pumps and jacks all over these hills, the Baldwin Hills. They pump oil and gas all day long. This is what happens. These are tremors caused by seismic activity in Los Angeles. Literally all day long. Okay? Let's go over to Ellis, California. This is also northern Los Angeles, a suburb of Los Angeles. These are just tremors. We've had tremors and minor earthquakes here in Ellis, California before. The tremor activity here has reduced itself. It's reduced itself. These are just minor tremors here. 1.3, 1.4 tremor, 1.3 tremor. This is a 1.3 tremor here. All these are 1.2 to or 1.1 to 1.3 tremors all day long today in Ellis, California. Okay, let's keep moving here. I want to go over into Fontana. This is on the east side of Los Angeles. Fontana, California is still moving. It's still rocking and rolling. Look at this. In Fontana, we used to have nothing but tremors. These are earthquakes. These are earthquakes. Yes, over here we're having 1.6, 1.7 tremors. Right here, this is a 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.0 earthquake. Right here, this is a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. This is a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. The same here, the same here. Right here. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. The seismicity has gone up here. The seismicity has gone up here in the East LA area. Okay? Yes, we have tremors, but you're also seeing minor earthquakes here as well. Minor earthquakes as well. Right down here. Okay? This here, on this blue line is 4:30 a.m. this morning. This is a 3.0 small earthquake here. A 3.0 small earthquake here. Right here. This is after 4 a.m. this morning. 4:08 a.m. this morning is the 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 small earthquake here in Los Angeles this morning. Over here, this is another 3.0 earthquake here. It's still rocking and rolling in Fontana. It's been rocking and rolling in Fontana for about 2 months now. Okay? Eastern LA. Eastern Los Angeles. I want to take you now south along the coastline. I'm going to take you to Laguna Beach. This is Laguna Beach. The seismicity, the size of this seismic activity is increasing here as well. Okay? We have tremors here. 1.2, 1.3 tremors here all day. But you see increased seismic activity here. Look at this. Look at this. The needle bounced here, didn't it? Increased seismic activity here in Laguna Beach, California. This is the southern side of Los Angeles. Down here, you also see larger tremors here. Seismicity is increasing along the beach area as well. I want to go over to another part of Los Angeles, Loma. This is just south of Loma Linda area. Loma Linda is where the medical center is that's world renowned. This is just south of there. This is Loma. You're also seeing tremors here. We've had full-blown earthquakes here in Loma before. Full-blown earthquakes, and now the seismicity is reduced somewhat. It's still moving. It's all still moving. Okay? Loma, California. I want to go over to North Los Angeles. This is Moore Park. This is Moore Park, California. Look what we're seeing here. Again, this is North LA. North LA. Yes, we're seeing tremors here, but we're also seeing 2.0 earthquakes. Right here, this is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Right here, also a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Right here. Right here on the blue line is 11:30 p.m. Right over here. This is 11:41 p.m. last night. This is a 3.0 small earthquake. This is a 3.0 small earthquake over here in Moore Park, just north of Los Angeles. It's a community. It's a small town, a suburb of Los Angeles. 3.0 activity. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. It's moving. Los Angeles is moving, guys. Los Angeles is moving. Let's go over to a nearby community in Pardee, California. Look at this. Again, most of this is just tremor activity. Here is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here. Minor tremors here. 2.2, 2.3 earthquake here. All these are tremors here. This is a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake here. Guess what happened here? 4:36 a.m. this morning. A 3.0 earthquake here in Pardee, California. 3.0 small earthquake right there. It's happening. Yes, we've had small earthquakes here in Pardee before, but we're still getting these small earthquakes here. It's happening. Let's go up the north coast of Los Angeles. This time, let's go to Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Right here. This is north of Rancho Palos Verdes, that area there. West of Rancho Palos Verdes is where my wife was born. This is Playa del Rey north of there. These are just tremor activity, ongoing tremor activity. The tremors have been reduced here. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, we saw minor earthquakes happening here in Playa del Rey. These are just tremor activity, literally all day long today. Playa del Rey, California. I want to go show you Rio Hondo, also a suburb of Los Angeles. Look in Rio Hondo. Nothing but tremors literally all day long. 1.2, 1.3 tremors all day long. It seemed to start increasing after 4:45 a.m. today. This seems to be an increase. I wish we had the information for what happened later today. Usually they give it to us, but today they did not give it to us. Now, I want to tell you about something else that's going on. Let's go over to Long Beach. Let's go over to Long Beach. Look at this. Folks, this is light hype in Long Beach. Look at all these tremors and minor earthquakes here. 2.0 earthquake, 2.0 earthquake here. There are 2.0 earthquakes all throughout this seismogram. There are 2.0, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes down here at the bottom. This is just after 4:45 a.m. here. 4:45 a.m. here. Unreal. Deborah Reese is here in the chat saying all day long, guys, it's got to be close, I say. I think we're going to have a larger earthquake very soon. This is Long Beach. Long Beach. Let's go over to Anaheim. Anaheim. Look what we're having here. Suddenly here in Anaheim, it got larger, didn't it? It absolutely did. Right here, 3.0 earthquake last night. This is just after 5:01 p.m. last night. 3.0. 3.0. There are tremors, minor earthquakes throughout this seismogram. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake just after 12:15 a.m. this morning. About 12:16 a.m. this morning is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Here, another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. In this case, this is after 1:41 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. This earthquake is just after 2:43 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. Now, right here, this is just after 4:15 this morning. Another 3.0 small earthquake. This earthquake here is also after 4:44 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. Small earthquakes over in Anaheim, California. Fortunately, Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm were closed down early this morning. Small earthquakes hitting all day long. From last night to early this morning. And I'm sure they're still happening. They are still happening now. Okay? That's in Los Angeles. That's in Los Angeles. Let's go over Walnut La Puente. Walnut La Puente is over on the east side of LA. There's a volcano here. Look at the activity here. Look at the activity here. This is larger activity. Okay? Right here. This is at least a 3.3 earthquake here. Just after 5:20 p.m. last night. 3.3 earthquake here. Look at all these earthquakes happening. Look at all these earthquakes happening. Let's go to here. Actually, before that, let's go to right here. This is happening at 6:02 p.m. last night. Right here. This is at least a 3.3, 3.5 earthquake. However, look at the tops of this earthquake sequence. Look at the tops of this earthquake sequence and also the bottom. The bottom and the top of this sequence have been cut off, which means this earthquake was much stronger. This earthquake was much stronger. They have taken these devices and they've cut off the images. So we will not know exactly how strong these earthquakes are. Right here, on this black line. 1900 hours here, 7 p.m. last night. We come over here. We have tremors building up to a large earthquake. This is at 9:06 p.m. last night. The top and the bottom of this sequence have been cut off. Right here, we're showing at least a 3.0 earthquake. We believe this was much stronger than that. They're not showing us this total strength here. They cut off the bottom and the top. We come over about 2.5 minutes later, the same thing here. They cut off the bottom and the top of this sequence here. This sequence here lasted a minute and a half. This sequence here lasted just over 2 minutes. 2 minutes of 3.5 or large earthquakes. This, I believe, was at least a 3.5 earthquake. Okay? It was felt. People that lived here in Walnut La Puente area felt this earthquake. Again, right here, the same thing. Look at this sequence here. Right here is 9 p.m. This green line is 9:45. We have tremors building up here into full-blown earthquakes. 2.0, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake right there. 3.0 earthquakes happening all over here. This sequence lasted from 9:47 p.m. all the way up here to 9:52 p.m. last night. Unreal. Unreal. 8 minutes worth of earthquake shaking here in La Puente, Walnut La Puente area here in Los Angeles area. Look at this sequence here. Again, a 3.0 earthquake right here. The bottom of it's being covered by other seismic energy after that. You can see these earthquakes here. This started after 11:01 p.m. last night. This sequence here is thick, meaning these earthquakes were back to back to back for about 20 seconds. Back to back 3.0 large earthquakes here for about 20 seconds. Then it became more sporadic, but this sequence lasted from 11:01 p.m. until 11:06 p.m. last night. 5 minutes of earthquakes. 5 minutes of earthquakes here. Okay? Right here. This sequence started here. This is 23 or 20 or 11:45 right here. 23:45 right here. But folks, guess what? This sequence started way over here. It started way over here at about 11:45 p.m. last night. And it continued all the way over here until 11:46 last night as well. So this one lasted about 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. Again, at least 3.0 small activity. The top and the bottom have been cut off here. The top and the bottom have been cut off here. This is happening a lot, isn't it? It absolutely is. The top and the bottom of this sequence has also been cut off here. This is after 3:05 this morning. At least a 3.0 earthquake here. We don't know how strong it was. Probably about a 3.5 or larger earthquake. Okay? Look at this. The agency does not want us to know how strong these earthquakes are. Walnut, La Puente, in Los Angeles. Okay? Some people ought to be outraged. Some people ought to be outraged that they are allowing this to happen. It is happening. It is definitely happening. Let's go over to Southern California now. I want to show you Southern California. First, San Diego. Okay? Yes, we showed you Southern California. Now I'm showing you Southern California. I'm showing you this in San Diego County. Then I'm going to go east into Imperial County, California. Look at this. Okay? These are just 1.0, 1.1 tremors here, except for this. Right here. This is a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. This earthquake happened at 5:55 a.m. or 5:55 p.m. last night. San Diego County, San Diego City, San Diego City. This is San Diego Mission Control over at the San Diego Gas and Electric Building in Mission Valley, San Diego. Okay? This appears to be a 2.5 earthquake here. A 2.5 earthquake. Here, this earthquake is on the Rose Canyon Fault. The Rose Canyon Fault in San Diego. Okay? The Rose Canyon Fault is capable of a 7.0, 7.5 earthquake. A 2.5 earthquake hit there today. This is just tremor activity 1.3, 1.4 tremor right there. All the rest of these are 1.0 tremors, except for right here. Here's another 2.3 or 1.3 tremor, 1.2 tremor there. San Diego. San Diego. Fancy that. Let's go over east to the Imperial Valley. We showed you earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley before. Guess what? There's a lot more. Now, just on the southwestern side of the Salton Sea. Those of you that have seen this program before, I've shown you the Salton Sea in the Imperial Valley. The Salton Sea is an inland sea in Imperial Valley. On the southwestern side of the Salton Sea, there's a town called Westmoreland. In the past, we've had anywhere from tremors to 3.0 earthquakes. That's not the case today. Yet we're seeing tremors here. Westmoreland, California. Tremor here. 1.3 tremor activity here. 1.2 activity here. 1.2.5 here. This is 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. 1.2 tremors here. This is long duration earthquake activity here. Yes, we have tremors right here. Okay? This started after 10:09 p.m. last night. Tremors. Tremors build up for a minute. They continue to build up for another 20 seconds. Right here, a 1.6 tremor here. More tremors here. All of a sudden we have a 2.2 earthquake here. 2.2 minor earthquake here. 2.1, 2.2 earthquake here. Okay? These are all tremors here except for right here. This may be a 2.0 earthquake. 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake right there. This is after 2:39 a.m. this morning. 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake right there. Okay? Westmoreland, California. Just southwest of the Salton Sea. I'm now going to take you south of there to Imperial, the town of Imperial. There is a lot of activity here. As I reported before, USGS is not showing you these earthquakes. This is the town of Imperial in Imperial County. Yes, we have a lot of tremors here. Again, this is after 5 p.m. last night. Look at this. Tremor activity building up here. It continues building up here. Right here we have a 3.0 earthquake here. This is 5:13 p.m. last night. A 3.0 earthquake here. All this tremor activity building up to a 2.0 earthquake, 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here, building up to a 3.0 earthquake here. You see tremor activity here. This is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake after 6 p.m. last night. Tremor activity, 1.6, 1.7 tremor here. Tremor activity, but right here. 2200 hours here on the black line is 10 p.m. Right here in this blue line, this is 10:30 p.m. right there. This is all tremor activity building up to an earthquake, as you see. This is at least a 3.0 earthquake. It appears that they cut the top and the bottom of this sequence off. This is at least a 3.0 earthquake. This earthquake lasted over a minute long. 1 minute worth of shaking right here. Over a minute. Then it cut down here. This is called a secondary wave here. This secondary wave lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 minutes. 6.5 minutes of secondary wave. The primary wave right here, this may be as large as a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake here. 4.0 earthquake being a moderate earthquake here. This is probably at least a 3.5 earthquake here. Then we have more tremors. We come down here after 2:15 here. This black line here is 0200, 2 a.m. this morning. This is 2:15 a.m. here. Tremor activity here. Tremor activity building up for over 4 minutes here. All of a sudden, we get 2.0, 2.4 activity here. Then it becomes larger. Again, the top and the bottom of this sequence have been cut off. This is probably 3.5 to 4.0 earthquake here. In the Imperial Valley, in the town of Imperial, California. Okay? We do have somebody named Juanito here who lives in El Centro. Juanito probably felt these earthquakes. This is just south of where Juanito lives. Okay? Actually, I'm sorry, it's just northeast of where Juanito lives. Juanito lives in El Centro. Okay? But this is happening in Imperial Valley. As I said, USGS is not showing any of this activity. It's not showing the tremors, and it's not showing the earthquakes. The town of Imperial here has anywhere from 25 to 35 earthquakes here every day, and I'm counting tremors as well. But you can see the earthquakes here. You can see the earthquakes here. Let's show you El Centro where Juanito lives. Okay? I've been looking forward to showing you this. Now, the town of El Centro has settled down somewhat. El Centro is full of about 20 to 30 earthquakes a day. 20 to 30 earthquakes a day. This is pretty calm compared to what it was. Okay? Yes, we're seeing tremors here. We're seeing minor earthquakes here. Here is an earthquake here. We're not seeing the bottom of it because it reaches so far up here. This is after 5 p.m. yesterday. 5:08 p.m. yesterday, a 3.0 earthquake. Right here. On this red line here is 5:15. We come over here. This is 5:25 p.m. last night. This is at least a 3.3 earthquake here. A small 3.3 earthquake here. This is a 3.0 earthquake. This is a 3.0 earthquake. This is a 3.0, 3.0, 3.0 here. This is a 2.6, 2.7 minor earthquake. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. This is also 3.0 earthquake here. 3.3, 2.2, 2.3 here. 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. 2.0 to 2.9 are considered to be minor earthquakes. But you can see all the earthquakes here. El Centro, California. Juanito, our friend here, lives here. He felt these earthquakes, guys. Juanito felt these earthquakes. Unreal. Unreal. Folks, down here in the Imperial Valley, it's hotter than Hades. The elevation here is below sea level. Below sea level. It's hotter than heck here. Probably 110, 113 degrees here in the shade. In the shade. El Centro, California. That's not all, folks. There's more. There's a lot more. I showed you Imperial. I want to go now to the east, southeast to Holtville. Good old Holtville. Look at this. This is the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. That's where the seismograph is at. Look at this. Tremor activity. Tremor activity all day long except right here. This is probably a 2.3 earthquake here. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. Minor earthquakes. 2.3, 2.0, 2.3 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here. There's a lot of tremors here. Usually we see tremors and earthquakes here. Yes, we see some minor earthquakes here. But all this is all tremor activity. Now, even here in Holtville, we're seeing probably 50 seismic events here. At least 50 seismic events. More than just 1.1, 1.2 tremors. Okay? We're seeing at least 50 seismic events here in Holtville, California. That's Holtville. I have a couple other stops to show you here in the Imperial Valley. How about going up the eastern side of the Salton Sea? Near the center, the center of the Salton Sea on the east side. This is Bombay Beach. I've talked about Bombay Beach before. This is on the San Andreas Fault. Bombay Beach is on the San Andreas Fault. Look here. Again, the top and the bottom of this sequence have been cut off. This is at least a 3.3 earthquake. This is at least a 3.3 earthquake. This sequence lasted over a minute and a half. It lasted over a minute and a half. It has a buildup of seismic energy here. Tremors building up to full-blown earthquake. And after that, we have a secondary wave here lasting another minute and a half here. This is at least a 3.3 earthquake. Okay? Then we come over here to the far right. This earthquake happened after 5:51 p.m. last night. This is 5:51 p.m. right here. Okay? Over here, just about 4 or 5 minutes later, there's another sequence of activity happening here. It's covered up by this activity here. I want to talk about this here. Over here on the right-hand side, we're seeing other tremor activity happen over here that have started over here with this earthquake here. Tremor activity here. And that tremor activity is secondary wave lasted here 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes, which means this is probably at least a 3.0, 3.3 earthquake here. We can't see much of it because it's covered by this sequence here. Okay? This sequence here started way over here. Okay? Over on the left-hand side, this will be 6:30 p.m. on the blue line. We come all the way over here. This is 6:43 p.m. last night, right here. Tremor activity building up to a full-blown earthquake here. Again, the top and the bottom of this sequence is cut off. This is at least a 3.0 earthquake. The same thing right here. This is a continuance of that quake. Right here, it got longer. This earthquake got longer right here. This is probably a 3.5 earthquake. The primary wave continued for another minute and a half here. It started over here. So this earthquake lasted nearly 3 minutes. It started over here, it continued over here. It lasted 3 minutes. A 3.3, 3.5 earthquake at least. Okay? The same thing here. This is after 2:43, or not 2:43, 10:43 p.m. last night. The top and the bottom of this sequence again cut off. 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes here. All these other earthquakes here. This is the 3.0 sequence here. Right here we have another 3.0 earthquake here. You can see 3.0 earthquake here. Another 3.0 earthquake sequence here. Folks, right here on the San Andreas Fault, you can see these earthquakes. You can see the earthquakes. Folks, this is business. This is business. We are seeing these earthquakes on the San Andreas Fault in Southern California. We have told you that the earthquakes on the San Andreas Fault are going to get larger. The San Andreas Fault is about to go. There are all kinds of videos all over YouTube showing you that the San Andreas Fault is going to go in Southern California. It's a matter of time. You're seeing seismic events like this happening in Southern California. The San Andreas Fault here is about to blow. It can blow just east of Los Angeles as well, up and down the entire fault line, all over Southern California, from east of Los Angeles, south here, to just south of the Mexican border. It's going to go. The San Andreas Fault, let me bring up the USGS map here. I want to show you this. I want to show you this. This is good information. We're showing you a lot of earthquakes here, right? Oh yeah, a heck of a lot of earthquakes. Guess what? Right here. Okay? That's a big earthquake in Tonga. That is a 5.1 earthquake in Tonga right there. A 5.1 earthquake in Tonga. Okay? How about this one here? Australia. Tennant Creek, Australia. This is a 4.4. Richard Smith, about an hour or so ago, reported a 3.0 earthquake here in southwestern Australia. USGS does not even show that. How dare them? How dare them? A 3.0 earthquake here in southwestern Australia, and this 4.4 up here in Queensland, Australia here. A 4.4 moderate earthquake here. South of Tonga. This is another 5.0 earthquake here in the South Kermadec Islands, just north of New Zealand. Right here. They're not showing any earthquakes here in New Zealand at all. That's a lie. There are plenty of earthquakes here in New Zealand. Why am I calling it a lie? Why do you think I'm calling it a lie? Because, folks, when USGS omits earthquakes, omission is a lie. Omission all day long is a lie. If I omit information, I've lied to you. I do not like omitting any information at all. I enjoy telling you the truth. I tell you the truth all day long. Over here, Indonesia, Maba, Indonesia. This is a 4.6 earthquake. 4.6 earthquake. Further north, the volcano islands south of Japan, a 4.5 earthquake. Over here in China, western Zhejiang, China, another 4.0 earthquake. Across the pond here, eastern Pacific Ocean, just south of southern Mexico, Petacalco, Mexico, another 4.2 earthquake here. Down here in southern Chile, Monte Patria, Chile, another 4.3 earthquake. However, they're not showing any earthquakes here in Chile besides that. There are 36 earthquakes here in South America. Why are they not showing them to us? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm going over here to southern Mexico. Look at this. They're showing us this earthquake here, a 4.2 near Petacalco, Mexico. There are 40 earthquakes, maybe 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico, between Mexico City right here, all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta. They're not showing us everything, are they? Not at all. The earthquakes go from the border here in Guatemala all the way up here. There are over 40 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. They're not showing everything. They're not. Why not? There are other earthquakes here in northern Mexico as well. Earthquakes along the Baja California here. Earthquakes over here in the Gulf of California. Why are they not shown to us? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm going over here to the Salton Sea right here. This is the Salton Sea. Right here on the eastern side of the Salton Sea, this is Bombay Beach that I just showed you. Okay? Up here, this is the Indian Springs Fault. This is a 1.1 tremor here. Southeast of North Shore, Salton Sea. Right here where you see my cursor, this is North Shore. All we had today here at North Shore were tremors, minor tremors. This appears to be a lot larger earthquake than a 1.1 tremor. Probably larger, because they lie. They cover up, they conceal earthquakes. This earthquake here is on the San Jacinto Fault. 1.0 in Borrego Springs. Right here, this whole area here is the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. Right here, a 0.5 microquake. Right here, a 0.7 microquake, also in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Right here, a 0.3. Going further north, Idlewild, California, San Bernardino Mountains, a ski resort during the winter, and it's a hiker's paradise in the summertime and spring. This is a 0.5 in Idlewild. Right here is also north of Idlewild, a 0.4, a 0.9, 1.0. This is all part of the San Jacinto Fault. All part of the San Jacinto Fault zone. Right up here, this is the San Andreas Fault. Let me zoom out here. The San Andreas Fault comes up here, doesn't it? Right here is also the San Jacinto Fault here. So the San Jacinto Fault connects to the San Andreas. What have we been talking about here on the San Andreas? The San Andreas starts up in Northern California, literally touching the Cascadia Subduction Zone Fault. When the Cascade subduction zone goes with a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, what's going to happen? It's going to transmit that energy all the way south. That is why we keep telling you to watch for earthquakes in this area. They are not telling us about everything. This is a 1.0 tremor in Yorba Linda, California. They didn't show this here, did they? No. We don't have the seismogram to Yorba Linda. But this is in Los Angeles County, right? We've been seeing tremors and earthquakes all over Los Angeles today. I just got through showing them. They do not tell us about everything going on, meaning the USGS is omitting information. They are lying to us. They are lying to our faces. They are lying to our faces. Right here. This is Marina del Rey, Playa del Rey area that I showed you. Tremor activity here. This is where my wife was born, right here. My wife was born right there. Right here, this is Palos Verdes, California, right there. I showed you the tremors and microquakes that were happening in Palos Verdes. Earthquakes all over this area, guys. I just got through showing you the entire place. Right down here. I want to show you this real quick. I'm going to back this out. And zoom in here. Right here. Okay, this is Holtville. I just got through showing you the seismogram from Holtville. This is showing 1.8 tremor here in Holtville. Also on the San Andreas Fault. They call it the Imperial Fault once it enters Imperial Valley right here. They call the San Andreas Fault the Imperial Fault right here. Holtville, California, a 1.8 tremor. But they didn't show you all the other tremors here, did they? They didn't show you the 2.0 earthquakes here either, did they? Not at all. Westmoreland's right here. Calipatria, I didn't even show you the seismogram from. There are 75 earthquakes on the Calipatria seismogram. There are probably close to 300 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley today. Unreal. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Do you think they're telling us about everything? No, they're not. They're not even close to telling us what's going on. Up here, this is the San Gabriel Fault Zone. The San Gabriel Fault Zone. Right here, this is Castaic, California. A 2.1 earthquake north of Los Angeles. 2.1 minor earthquake north of Los Angeles. What's going on? Ridgecrest, California. I'm sorry, that's Bodefish, California. That's the volcanic area. This is the volcanic area right here. Ridgecrest, California is up here. Right there. 1.1 tremors. 1.1 tremors. Right here, this is Tehachapi, California. Tehachapi. Down here, this is Pine Mountain Club, California. This is a 1.1 tremor here on the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault is moving. It's moving. Right here, just east of the earthquake capital of the world. This is the Vinal, California, a 1.7 tremor. Earthquake capital of California is right here. Earthquake capital of the world. More earthquakes right here than anywhere else. Again, the USGS is not even showing that. Up here, the Pinnacles, also on the San Andreas Fault, 1.7 tremor. They're not showing any earthquakes here in San Francisco, which is also a lot. Up here, this is Sonoma County, California. Sonoma Valley, California, the geysers, a geothermal facility where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano here, the Clear Lake volcano. The Clear Lake volcano. This is why we have earthquakes here. They drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano to obtain steam to power turbines here. When seismic energy finds these man-made earthquake faults, it fractures the rock inside these faults, causing these earthquakes. Right here. This is a 1.3 tremor in the geysers facility. Right here is a 2.0 in Calistoga, California. The San Andreas Fault comes up here. It goes west of San Francisco Bay and continues north up here until it reaches the Cascadia Megathrust Earthquake Fault. The Cascadia Fault Zone here. This is the Mendocino Fault here. The Mendocino Fault goes all the way here into Northern California. This is the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment comes over here until it becomes the Mendocino Fault here into California here. The San Andreas Fault here is at the triple junction of the Gorda Escarpment and the Cascadia Subduction Zone. So when we get that 9.0, 10.0 earthquake on the Cascadia Subduction Zone up here in just off the coast of Washington, Seattle, Washington, Tacoma, Washington area here, along the Cascadia Subduction Zone and the Juan de Fuca Fault, guess what? We're going to get that earthquake all the way down here into Southern California and into Southern Mexico, or Northern Mexico, into Northern Mexico. And by the way, I want to show you something else. I want to show you something else here. Where did I put it? I thought I had it here, maybe I don't. But I do have it on Earthquake Canada. Guess what, guys? In case you didn't know, back on July 4th, and yes, this is the Earthquake Canada map. USGS also showed this as a 5.7 earthquake. Canada is showing this as a 5.5. Remember me talking about this yesterday? Showing you all the earthquakes that we had? Showing you the seismic sensor details? 9.0 earthquake, 8.8 earthquake. How many earthquake sensors did I show you? I showed you 43 earthquake sensors, all showing over 7.0 earthquakes. 7.0 plus are major earthquakes. This earthquake here, just off the coast of Vancouver Island on July 4th, was at least a 7.5 earthquake. Canada had it as a 5.5, USGS had it as a 5.7. It was at least a 7.5 earthquake. And they're still getting hit today. This is brand new right there. This earthquake here is brand new. Let's see if we can click on it. It just happened today. Bingo. There we go. This is a 3.0 earthquake that happened today. 3.0 earthquake. It happened at 1:11 p.m. today. Incredible. That earthquake area is still moving off of Vancouver, Canada today. It's moving. It's been moving. These yellow earthquakes here, this is June 25th. 3.1 earthquake, June 25th. This earthquake here is a 3.4. This is June 10th. This earthquake further west here, This is a 3.2, June 28th. So we've been having earthquakes in this area 3.0 or larger since the middle of June. These earthquakes continue to happen. These earthquakes continue to happen. I want to show you that to try to prove my point. They are not telling us the truth. Look at all these earthquakes in Alaska today. I want to show you this. This is a 3.6. Let me zoom in here. I want to show you this. This is a 3.6 here. It's here in this body of water here. This is the Cook Inlet. This body of water coming out of the North Pacific is called the Cook Inlet. It comes here between the peninsula going all the way up here. Right here, this is Anchorage, Alaska, right there. Right here, a 3.6 small earthquake. What's over here? Right here is Mount Redoubt. Mount Redoubt, a volcano. 3.6 there in Cook Inlet, and right here, right next to the volcano, we have a 2.8. And a 1.2. We have tremors and minor earthquakes here at Mount Redoubt. West of Mount Redoubt right here is a 1.4. North of Mount Redoubt right here is a 1.8. Mount Redoubt, it looks like, is going to get ready to go again. We have not seen 2.8 earthquakes at Mount Redoubt in some time. It looks like Mount Redoubt is getting ready to go. Maybe tomorrow we'll go over to the seismogram at Mount Redoubt and see what's happening. Okay? Right here. This is an interesting area. 2.1 Pedro Bay. What do we have going on here? Folks, we have a volcano here. South here is a 2.1 minor earthquake. Right here we have a, what they call a minus 0.3. This is above sea level, supposedly. Above sea level. The problem with that is it is almost 2 miles deep. It is 1.6 kilometers deep, which is almost 2 miles deep. It's not above sea level. It's 2 miles deep inside the volcano. 2 miles deep inside the volcano. So again, they're lying through their teeth. They're trying to not tell the truth. They're basically trying to not tell us the truth. They don't want us to see what happens. This is Old Ililama volcano. Old Ililama volcano. Folks, we have things happening. We have a lot happening. And again, they don't want to tell us. They don't want to tell us. Incredible. Incredible. Right here. This is a 1.8 tremor. It is just northeast of Old Ililama volcano. You can see all the earthquakes here in Alaska. Kodiak Island. This is a 2.8 earthquake at Kodiak Island. A 2.8 earthquake at Kodiak Island. I wish they would tell us the truth. I truly do wish they'd tell us the truth. But apparently they can't. Apparently they can't. Don Patoka is calling it WW. It's whitewash. It's whitewash. This earthquake right here, guys, what do you think is going on? What do you think is going on? Folks, it's another good-sized earthquake. It's another good-sized earthquake that they don't want to admit has happened. Heaven forbid they tell us the truth. Heaven forbid they tell us the truth. This, Svalbard. Svalbard. A 4.9 earthquake in Svalbard. Iceland here. Iceland, we're getting ready right here to see another volcanic eruption. We're getting ready to see another volcanic eruption. I want to zoom in here and tell you a quick story here. It's already after 9 p.m. I should have been out of here about 20 minutes ago. Right down here. Remember Grindavik, Iceland here? We told you a lot about Grindavik, Iceland. Grindavik, Iceland is where we had a lot of fissures open up in the ground because the Mid-Atlantic Fault keeps striking there. The Mid-Atlantic Fault comes right through the Reykjanes Peninsula here. Mid-Atlantic Fault. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding, guys. What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? Folks, a lot's happening. People's lives are in danger here. People's lives are in danger. I'm trying to find Grindavik. That's not Grindavik. Grindavik is further south here. That's too far south. Well, just a second. Let me do it a different way. I'm going to open up Google Earth. This is probably the best way to show you what's going on in Grindavik and the surrounding area. Those of you that don't have Google Earth, I would recommend that you get it. Google Earth is a good thing to have, okay? Google Earth is taking me right to Grindavik. This is Grindavik. This is the harbor at Grindavik, Iceland. Grindavik is famous for its fishing. The fishing boats go out every morning. They go out into the Atlantic Ocean and fish. They bring the fish over here to the fish processing plants. Well, guess what's happening here in Grindavik Harbor? There are fissures that are moving. Fissures underneath the water that are moving. There are earthquakes here every day. They believe the magma from the volcano that we've seen erupting just north of Grindavik up here, they believe the magma is now down here under Grindavik Harbor. They believe there's going to be an underwater volcano open up here. That's what they're now saying. We are watching for an eventual volcanic eruption. I want to show you that. This is important information. This is very important. Now, we've been talking a lot about this. A very lot about this. Yes, we've had volcanic eruptions out here. It's continued. Right now we're waiting for another volcanic eruption. It's either going to be up here or it's possible that the scientists are seeing earthquakes here, it's possible that we could get a volcanic eruption here in Greenvik Harbor. We shall see. We shall see. I want to go over here real quick. Okay? We have a power plant here. We talked to you about the power plant. The power plant here is producing electricity. The power plant is pulling steam from the Reykjanes Peninsula volcano and generating electricity, and taking the water from the volcano, the underground water system from the volcano, and they're transporting that hot water to the entire continent of Greenland. I mean, not Greenland, Iceland. They're transporting that water, that hot water, to the entire island of okay, they're transporting that hot water to the entire island of Iceland. Okay? Something else. Something else you may not have seen. Okay? There is also a hotel out here. There's also, this is a transmission antenna, a Navy transmission antenna out here in Iceland. Okay? They talk to submarines. They talk to submarines. Right out here, there's a hotel. Okay? There's a hotel. What do they use the hotel for? It's a spa. It's a spa. And they have people here from all over the world in the spa. Now, when we have volcanic eruptions, the CO2 and SO2 toxic gases from the lava are blown around by the winds. And they've had to evacuate the power plant and the spa here, because they don't want to put people's lives in danger. Okay? So far, they've been very lucky. So far, they've been very lucky. Right now, we're still waiting for another volcanic eruption. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to point out this information because it's important. I think everybody should understand that. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm happy to take any questions that you may have right now. Any questions, guys? We have 63 people watching our channel. I know it's late. It's 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I know it's late. I want to leave you with a spiritual thought. This thought comes from 1 John chapter 15, verses 10 through 18. I do a spiritual thought at the end of our program every day. I want to go to verse 9. I want to go to verse 6 first. Chapter 15, verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. What has the Lord taught us? What has the Lord taught us about praying to Him and answering our promises with His promise? That He will abide with us and help us out with what we need. If we keep our promises to keep His commandments, we have His Spirit to be with us. If we have His Spirit to be with us, He will reveal His will to us if we ask. Verse 8. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so ye shall be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you my friends, for all things have I heard of my Father. All things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, ye know that it hateth me, before it hated you. Know that the Lord loves you. Know that the Lord wants to bless us. He will bless us if we keep his commandments. We've talked a lot about commandments. We've also talked a lot about his promises, his covenants with us. We make covenants with him, and he makes covenants with us to bless us. We can do that. I promise you he will do that. I promise you that. Brothers and sisters, it's very late. I didn't mean to take this so late, but I needed to get this information out to you. Watch for larger earthquakes in Southern California. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. We will keep track of Beryl as it heads up into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and up into Canada. We will let you know what happens. If there's any questions, please email me. Or if you have my Facebook Messenger, text me your questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions at any time. Folks, I love you. I care about you, or I would not even be doing this. I appreciate your super chats. I appreciate you joining our memberships here. I appreciate you helping us on PayPal. I appreciate you sending us cards and letters to our post office box. I appreciate that so much. Ken Staley's here from Costa Rica. Ken, thank you very much. God bless you all. I love you all. God loves you. God wants to bless us all. God be with you, and please pray for those people that stand in need of God's help. The people in Texas and all throughout that area where you saw that cone. Because those people are going to need it. God bless everybody who's been affected by that hurricane, and any of the tornadoes and anything else. God bless you all. Thank you for being attentive to this program. Thank you for helping us. We definitely appreciate it. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. I love you all. We will see you tomorrow night at the very latest. See you soon, guys. God be with you until we meet again. 6 p.m. tomorrow night. God bless. Bye-bye.